Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We will now deliver a public relation plan of Venturous to you. So, Venturous is a student run PR agency that was managed and founded by a group of intelligent and creative mass communication students at Taylor's University, Malaysia. It is dedicated to the development of SME as well as startup clients. True to our name, we aim to provide visionary and impactful public relations and creative content marketing solutions by venturing into various areas of expertise. Venturous provides solutions that are specifically suited to purpose driven small medium enterprises and tech startups in order to obtain maximum exposure and visibility. Without further ado, let's get started with the Public Relations Plan presentation.
Hello everyone, good morning Mr. Hardip, and to everyone that is present here today. We thank you for giving us your time and attention as we have something really amazing and really exciting to share with you. We are proud to present the newly revamped, newly formed student-led public relations agency called Venturous by the final year PR students of Taylor's University. First of all, I'm Jody.
I'm Jaslyn.
I'm Emir.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Risna.
All right, so before we dive into the bulk of things, let's look at the current state of affairs. This will enlighten you on why Venturous is formed in the first place. Internally, we have found several opportunities to further improve ourselves. Yes, opportunities. Instead of acknowledging them as problems, let's look at them as opportunities to change, improve, or add on to Venturous. Firstly, you know we have been operating for so many years. For more than a decade, we have a student-led PR agency, and we have done so many amazing projects. But it is time for us to reinvent ourselves to create impactful brand appeal while improving industry visibility. Secondly, be proactive, where we take the first steps. We want to have clients waiting for us, then us waiting for clients, and that is very important as well. Thirdly, have high-impact projects for high-impact learning. We wish to set an example for our juniors and inspire future aspiring PR practitioners through our projects. And to do so, we must secure better projects for better learning and exposure. Fourthly, we need to include and scout industry partners and mentors. Collaborate with them, work side by side while learning realities and anticipate in the world of PR and communications with established experts. This can also further foster our high-impact learning. Lastly, have ability to scale further. We can even go global sometime in the future or collaborate with various universities across Malaysia, turning Venturous into a full-fledged PR agency that not only brings pride to and recognition to Taylor's, but also to the entire country of Malaysia. Now, let's look at external, SMEs and startups, small, medium enterprises. Let's look at Malaysia. If we are to look at them by state, Selangor followed by Kuala Lumpur, then Johor, Perak, and I have some of the highest rates of startups and SMEs, as you can see here. Malaysia has been said to have an encouraging and supportive environment for startups and SMEs. Some of our subsectors include gaming and fintech. For some of you who are unsure of what fintech is, fintech or financial technology are computer programs or other technology used to support or enable banking and financial services. Now let's look at the pie chart here below. In 2020, the SMEs made up of a total of 97.2% of all businesses. But however, we are very confident that those numbers have dropped due to the pandemic. For the ones that are still standing, those are the ones that we want to help grow bigger. On an average, about 4.9% of increase in SMEs of Malaysia each year since 2015. So it's very important that we help these group of people. In services alone, there's about 85.5%. That's about 980,000 amount of SMEs. That's a lot. Okay, guys? As you can see here, SMEs help with employability and help raise the country's GDP as well, deeming them the backbone of our country. We're sure some of you have seen the multiple businesses coming up on Instagram as well, right? At Venturous, these are the brands and companies we are looking for. Don't you agree?
Yes, Jody, I totally agree with you. And well, people might be thinking, what can we do and who will benefit from Venturous? So the primary audiences of Venturous will be SMEs and tech startups in Malaysia. Just as Jody mentioned earlier, we want to do something. We want to help the backbone of Malaysia's economy. Those SMEs can be any business around us, like restaurants, car services, beauty salons, anything. Any small and medium-sized enterprises will be our potential clients. We would like to bring those companies that are in the midst of growing to the next level, just like these famous and well-established startups in Malaysia as shown in the picture, such as Custom, Silcar, Aerodyne, Boost, BigPay, and more. In order to help the companies which might not be able to afford high and expensive PR charge, we are here. Venturous is born to close the gap by offering the most agile and contemporary strategies to our potential clients. Other than primary audience, Venturous also values the audiences who are influential, and we divided them as our ecosystem partners in 4 categories. Firstly, in terms of tertiary education, PR students from Taylor's University and all universities in Malaysia, no matter they are from public or private universities, there will be our secondary audiences. We all actually are sharing the same values, the same mindset and practices, just as Venturous does by having a common module, program, or department. They're definitely one of our greatest interest groups, and this group has a strong power to influence the community and the potential customers. Or even, Venturers can even involve them in our project, in what we are going to do in the future. We could even inspire them to create second, third, and more student-run PR agencies in Malaysia, perhaps setting up a branch of Venturers in other universities. Followed by the media. Traditional media and digital media will be our targeted audience, as PR is not a mass medium itself. We need the media as tools to accomplish our goals. Being in the communications industry, it is always overloaded with information and everything is developing rapidly. So, media partnership is crucial. Bernama.com, Digital News Asia, and Business Today are those media partners in the list that Venturers would like to work with. It is necessary for Venturers to get support and media coverage from them to publish the stories of SMEs and tech startups in reputable media outlets. Likewise, our future partner media will benefit from Venturers by getting stories beyond just depending on their own journalists and internal editorial team. It is actually a win-win partnership for both parties in order to shine in the PR and media world. Furthermore, established PR agencies, SMEs, and tech-related community connectors will be Venturous strong industry partners. In the PR industry, our partners in the list include Zeno, Ogilvy, Edelman, and more, who are well-known PR agencies not only in Malaysia, but also in the world. We will try our best to secure them as our PR partners, as they will be like our big brothers and sisters, and they will be there for mentorship, to advise, to support, and to guide us when serving the businesses. Choosing the right partners is significant as they help us to expand the agency, impose strong brand reputation, and trust on the agency, while we can capitalize on the strengths of each other. Lastly, we would also like to work along with MDEC, Malaysia Digital Economic Corporation, Cradle, and Magic. Yes, it's magic, but not those Harry Potter's magic. It's a short form of Malaysian Global Innovation and Creativity Center. They are valuable bodies for venturers to connect with our potential clients. For PR firms in any country, a well-developed government relations will help to foster advocacy opportunities in the industry, and being recognized by them signifies that we are one step closer to our primary audience. On top of that, if we have the opportunity, venturers can even influence and change public policy for the future. So, finally, yet importantly, MDEC, Cradle, and Magic, which are agencies under the government ministries, will be our key to open the doors to access Malaysia's SMEs and tech startups. So, venturers will try our very best to have them as our partner government organizations to approach our potential clients easily and effectively.
Okay, so thank you, Jesslyn. And now let's talk about goals. Now, more specifically, the true meaning of goals. Now, everyone has goals, but we're not just talking about individuals or people here. We're talking about brands, startups, organizations, they all have goals that they want to achieve. Goals would allow us to work towards and look forward to something great, to strive to be the best. Without goals, it would be as if living a life without purpose. And we definitely don't want to be wandering around without purpose, am I right? That's why here at Venturous, we emphasize on achieving our goals, but also achieving them in the right way, the way that would make a substantial impact for everyone around us. Now, in achieving the goal of launching Venturous and making it the most successful PR consultancy, we have broken down the journey into 4 stages. Now, these stages are rebuild. Rebuild is where the brightest young minds from tailors would reinvent the meaning of public relations consultants. Fresh ideas from the next generation of leaders would make Venturous different from all the rest. Venturous, this idea, this fresh new name will be professionally supported from all angles, from the most important of names, credible partners that are more than just visible within the industry. Direction. Having direction is important because without direction, we cannot achieve what we set out to achieve. We need to know the journey that we'll be taking. So in order to know our journey, we need to set up on the right path. That path that we're talking about, it is to refresh our aspirations. We aim to be a reputable household public relations name. We want people to understand what Venturous stands for. Next, publicize. Venturous aims to promote itself in the best way possible. We want everyone to recognize Venturous as a household PR name. What this means is that we will ensure that we will publicize ourselves through every available channel there is, digital and others, for the most impact to the public. Finally, launch. By launching Venturous, we will be able to officiate our student-run public relations agency. A memorable virtual ceremony will be held to unveil our brand new agency and to formalize our partnerships with those who have trusted us and are supporting us. We have gained the support of many organizations and names to prove to you that Venturous is supported by the best and that we can be a name that you trust. But let's move further into our goals and talk about what we have planned and more.
Indeed, Emir. Now I will dig deeper on our key message of the goals that Emir has talked about just now. But before that, let us start with our mission of having a rebrand new PR agency. Our goal is to provide vision and impactful public relations and brand marketing solutions with contemporary perspective and ultra-modern skill sets. The reason why we are saying this is because in Chinese idiom, there's one say, 长江后浪推前浪. It means each new generation will excel the previous generation. So now it's the time for us, the youth, the millennials to evolve, for the industry to evolve, and for us to lead this industry to the next level. First, let us start talking about our first key message. Why rebuild? We are here to rebuild the student-run PR agency, which is run by only the final year PR student in Taylor's University. And we are here to provide a more innovative solutions to the current industry while we are showcasing a better brand appeal and industrial visibility. Yes, we all do understand that the current situation, which is the COVID-19 pandemic, has given us a lot of hard time, but not just for us, most of the business too. But we didn't just stop there. We decided to make a move. We decided to make a change. At this time, we will make a good use of the current technology, such as AI, advanced systems, and what you can name off in order for us to shine in this industry. Next, let's talk about the second key message. Why digital? This agency is run by young people. Thus, we are really tech savvy as we are familiar and have access to most of the media technologies, and we have the goals of providing limitless opportunity to improve the client's experience in the technology industry for the next few decades. As you guys can see, the advancement of artificial intelligence and technology has evolved from time to time. And this has led to us having a more advanced programs. And these programs are able to help us to process a huge amount of data in order to identify the latest trend in the industry and also to provide us a more suitable actions to the companies that we are working with. Moving on to our third key message. Why publicize? Us, the whole team, the Venturous team, is here working really hard together to publicize Venturous with plans of having media coverages to convey this message to the public audience who are more likely to be our future stakeholders. And those targeted audience have involved the SMEs, small, medium enterprise, and also the tech startups. At the same time, we are here to provide more affordable service to our potential stakeholders. And the reason why we are doing this is because most of the PR agencies are expensive, and most of the SMEs and tech startups actually find it hard to afford because it is a huge amount. Because we understand when the COVID hits, it doesn't just affect their operation. It has also affected them financially. So we are here to help. Last but not least, why formalize? We are going to organize a broad collection of interactive pre-launch and launch events in coordinations with relevant bodies such as medias in order to establish a mutually beneficial partnership and formalize the birth of Venturous. We believe that by collaborating with relevant bodies will help the small organizations to approach their target audience better by showing that why the organizations that we are working with is still relevant and reaching the common goals with the maximum credibility of all parties. Now, I've done introduce our 4 key messages, but how are we going to communicate and deliver them to the public and target audience?
Yes, Jason, this is where I come in to explain the channels that we've identified that can help to deliver the goals and key messages that were presented earlier. Channels. They're basically how a company communicates with and reaches its customer segments to deliver its value proposition. Now, for some of you who don't know what value proposition is, it's basically a statement that answers the why someone should do a business with us, Venturous. Now, as you can see here, we've categorized the channels into social media, YouTube podcasts, Zoom virtual launch, and the launch of Venturous official website. So in terms of social media, we've picked 3 different social media platforms that we think help best at delivering our messages to the audience effectively. We have Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and each of these channels has its own special features and functions, thus delivering our messages to the public in its own distinct way. All right, so what will we do with these 3 social media platforms? What's the inspiration behind it? I'm sure those are some of the questions you have in mind, right? So with Instagram, our main goal is to communicate and publicize our brand and content visually. And the key word here is visual. These include utilizing Instagram posts, stories, reels, and IGTV to help build relationships with the audience at a deeper and much more relatable level. As you can see here on the mini phone screen at the right side, Venturous has already posted introductory posts for both Venturous and the team members from each department. So our future plan for Instagram is to post more infographics, posters, interactive mini games, and store on the stories and do Q&A sessions with our audience. Okay, similar to Instagram, both Facebook and LinkedIn will also be used to post introductory posts, infographics, and more. But the thing is, since Venturous is still new and young, people still do not know about the existence of Venturous, right? So the strategies used for Facebook and LinkedIn is to introduce ourselves to SMEs and startups out there by joining in the right Facebook and LinkedIn groups and post content on those groups that we join. Through this, we will be able to connect and network with SMEs and tech startups, as well as professionals from different industries. And thus, only then will they have the interest to check out our PR consultancy and engage with our posts by liking, sharing, and even commenting. This is to help build a more credible image for Venturous, thus, in the end, fulfilling the goal of going for a modern direction. Now, let's look at the agenda for Venturous YouTube podcast and the Zoom virtual launch, 2 important launches that will officiate the birth of Venturous. Simultaneously, we will post the content on each channel, including the social media mentioned earlier. But specifically for YouTube podcasts, we are going to upload at least 5 podcast episodes within the 3 months' time. The plan here is to upload 1 episode every 2 weeks, which will be uploaded on YouTube on Fridays every 9 p.m. So we have already recorded the first episode titled A Venturous Beginning with the agency heads, Jody and Heidi, as the guest speakers, where they talk about the introduction of Venturous and what Venturous is all about, basically. Now, following up with the 22nd of October, episode 2, titled Influencer Marketing, will be released. The guest speakers will be announced later on, but they're most likely influencers that we already know. Now, on the 5th of November, episode 3, titled Entrepreneurs' Perception Towards PR, will be released. The guest speakers will also be announced later on, but some of the potential guests that we have are Adele Cho and Bella Kwan. Episode 4 will be uploaded on the 12th of November, titled BFM's Presenter, where Ku Shu Chuang, the guest speaker, will publicize our agency Venturous. Now, on the 17th of November, it will be the launch of Venturous virtual launch on Zoom. The time will be from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., so around 1 hour. The activities will include a brief introduction of Venturous, speech from Hardip and the agency heads, and Q&A sessions, as well as video briefing and many, many more. And last but not least, on this agenda, the final episode of Venturous will be uploaded on the 26th of November, bidding farewell to season 1 of Venturous podcast. The guest speakers will include all the members from Venturous, and frankly, I'm really, really excited for that. So please look forward to that, fellow Venturous. So what are we trying to communicate with these channels, and how will these channels achieve our goals, right? So as presented earlier by Emir and about the goals and Jason regarding the key messages, social media platforms will be the channels to help show and communicate to the audience how we are going towards a more professional and modern direction. They also help amplify and publicize our messages and goals through visual content. On the other hand, YouTube podcasts, Zoom launch, and the webpage will deliver the message on how we are transforming and rebuilding this PR consultancy from previously known as Pro Passion to now Venturous. The launch of these events help officiate our PR consultancy and let the public know that we are officially ready to run.
Now, moving on to our timeline. Us, the Venturous team, are really surprised on how the time has passed and how far we have gone. And we are now on the second day of week 7, and exactly 1 month left until the official virtual launch of Venturous. But there are still several tasks that are left for us to complete within this month. In the month of October and the next few months, we are going to constantly post contents on our social media platforms to keep our public audience engaged and also to keep our social media active. This will be done by the digital marketing team. Besides that, the digital marketing team will also be preparing a series of podcasts, which Rizna has talked about just now, and that will be uploaded on our official YouTube channel. The contents team are going to finalize our very own brand guide and agency profile. And I'm sure that all of us, the Venturous team, are really excited to witness the birth of both brand guide and agency profile. Next, the creative team will get our very own webpage done by the 3rd week of this month. So please do stay tuned. As for the events team, they will be working on the production of videos, which will cover the introduction of Venturous. And at the same time, it will give you guys a better picture of our PR agency. Now, let's talk about the month of November. It means we are really close to our D-Day, which is the official virtual launch of Venturous. The events team will be having several dry runs to get ourselves familiar with the Zoom platform, and also to make sure that the flow of soft launch is on point. Besides that, the purpose of dry runs is to find out the technical difficulties that could possibly happen during the day itself, and also to get rid of it ahead. On 17 November, it's our D-Day, the official virtual launch, and we all are pumped to see you guys there.
So after putting months of effort into Venturous, it's time to evaluate what we have done, and measuring results for brand awareness is never easy and always challenging for PR industry, especially when we have to demonstrate the rate of investment to determine our success. In order to define the success of our goals, we will start by measuring the numbers to address publicized in goals, which is in terms of social media reach of all Venturous social media accounts 1 week after the virtual launch. We expect to see all of the social media accounts will achieve the goals and targets as shown, which are the number of likes on Facebook page must be more than 200, Instagram should have more than 200 followers, LinkedIn should have more than 100 followers, and YouTube should have more than 75 subscribers. And when it comes to social media engagement rate, we expect to see the average number of likes per post on Facebook will be more than 40. Every post on Instagram will have more than 50 likes. Every post on LinkedIn should have more than 100 views, and the average number of views per video on YouTube must be more than 70. However, these are just our minimum target to achieve, and of course, the more the merrier. What do you think, Emir?
I think that's fantastic. More is indeed the merrier. Now, by using an effective tool known as Google Analytics, we are given a strong and easy to use program to measure the website traffic and website performance of our web page. We will also be able to scrutinize other important metrics that may have led Venturous to our goal accomplishments. Now, how will we utilize the tools at our disposals, you may ask? Well, let me talk you through in detail. Firstly, we will analyze the page viewed and page visited, which is the total number of visits to our webpage during our pre-launch week until a week after the virtual launch, which also includes multiple visits from the same users. Additionally, the following metric that we will be measuring are unique visitors. What are unique visitors? You see, unique visitors are individual visitors coming to our webpage for a specific period of time. Basically, if a user visits our webpage about 5 times in a week, for example, he or she will only be measured as one unique visitor. With a total number of more than 200 visitors, it will symbolize our success when it comes to the goal of publicizing. Next, we will utilize the tool known as Google Analytics earlier to analyze our keyword rankings by measuring the amount of our customized hashtag, which is hashtag VenturousPR, being used on various social media platforms. The amount of hashtags used more than 200 times 1 week after the virtual launch will symbolize our marketing efforts in the direction goal as successful. This extremely detailed way of measuring will be able to indicate the success of Venturous in gaining high media exposure on the digital media. Speaking of Google, thanks to their extensive programs available at our disposal, we will be using another of their great programs known as Google Alerts to track and measure our goals in direction in terms of the media coverage through the organization's mentions. Now, organization mentions can basically be described as the number of times that our brand has been mentioned online in any given time frame. Also, we will be measuring our organization mentions qualitatively, like how well outlets cover our message, and quantitatively in page success rate. Our little targeted rule on this is to be mentioned by at least 5 digital media. Last but not least, we expect to see a total of more than 100 participants in our virtual launch to define our achievement in the goal of launching Venturous. Ladies and gentlemen, here comes a gentle reminder to mark your calendars and to tell all your friends and family and everyone you know that the virtual launch of Venturous Agency will be on the 17th of November.
Wow, I'm just so excited for our launch that is coming really soon. So do mark your calendars, guys. Feel free to follow all of our social media platforms listed here for the latest updates and be part of the adventurous journey into achieving our place as one of Malaysia's best student-led PR agencies. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to us via email, or even better, talk to us now by typing in the chat or even open your mic later on. We'll be more than happy to address any questions you might have. Once again, I'm Jody.
I'm Jaslyn.
I'm Emir.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Risna.
And on behalf of the Venturous team, we thank you for coming here today, and we'll see you real soon on the 17th of November. Thank you so much, and we'll see you.
We really appreciate you taking the time to listen to our presentation, and we hope this presentation brings you a much clearer understanding about the Venturous PR plan.